Saprayita Chakcharya, Ashtadana Satta Shri Srima, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Panamham Saprayita Chakcharya, Ashtadana Satta Shri Srima, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakha Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhatra Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Govinang Shama Kung Radha Kung Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Chamunamai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. ISKCON Yottvagadam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Pramanandi Haribo Haribo. All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis. Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis. All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, Chapter 1, text number 39. Yamo Utasvit Tanayo Pritaya Patai Brito Pakshmabir Akshiniva Ramata Udaya Mrite Swariktam Parat Supano Iva Vachri Vakchat Yamavutasvi Tanayo Pritayaha Patai Rito Pakshmabir Akshi Niva Ramata Udaya Midesvaritam Parasupa Noviva Vadvit Vaksha Yamavutasvi Tanayo Pritayaha Patai Rito Pashmabir Akshiniva Ramata Udaya Midesvaritam Parasupano Iva Rarit Bhaksha Yama Utasvi Tanayo Pritayaha Patai Rito Pakshimabir Akshin Niva Akshiniva Remata Udaya Midesvaritam Parasupano Iva Vadvit Vaksha Yama utasvi tanayo pritaya Patai rito pakshmi mavikairaya Rema udaya midesvarikam Parasupana iva rajvidvacham Vaishnavis. Yama twins, Nakula and Sahadev. Utasweet brother, Tanayo sons, Pritayaha of Prita, Patahai by the sons of Prita, Brito protected, Pakshimabi by the shields. It's different, huh? Okay. Akshini of the eyes, Eva like, Remate praying carelessly, Udaya snatching, Mride in the fight, Svariktam on property, Parat from the enemy Duryodhan, Supano Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, Eva like, Vajri Vakchat from the mouth of Indra. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well? Just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid, they are protected by the sons of Preta, who snatched back the rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemy Duryodhana, just as Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. Purport. Indra, the king of heaven, carries a thunderbolt in his hand and is very strong. Yet Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, was able to snatch nectar from his mouth. Similarly, Duryodhana was as strong as the king of heaven, and still the sons of Preta, the Pandavas, were able to snatch away their kingdom from Duryodhana. Both Garuda and the Pathas are pet devotees of the Lord, and thus it was possible for them to face such strong enemies. Vidura's inquiry was about the youngest brother of the Pandavas, namely Nakula and Sahadeva. These twin brothers were sons of Madri, the stepmother of the other Pandavas. But although they were stepbrothers, because Kunti took charge of them after the departure of Madri with her husband, Maharaj Pandu, Nakula and Sahadeva were as good as the other three Pandavas, namely Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjuna. The five brothers are known in the world as regular brothers. The three elder Pandavas took care of the younger brothers, just as the eyelid takes care of the eyes. Vidura was anxious to know whether, after winning back their own kingdom from the hands of Duryodhana, the younger brothers were still living happily under the care of the older brothers. Om Jnana Timinandasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chakshu Uminitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Mishtan Stapitan Yena Bhutare Swayan Upakada Mahyan Dadati Swam Padantikam. Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Lakunata Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatuta Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jakapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Ishvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakau Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishranebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yama Utasvit Tanayo Pritaya Patai Rito Pakshma Bir Akshiniva Remata Udaya Mrida Swariktam Para Supano Eva Rajri Vakcha. Translation again. Are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well, just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid? They are protected by the sons of Preta, who snatched back their rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemy Duryodhana, just as Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. So here, Vidura's inquiry was about Nakula and Sahadeva, the two youngest brother of the Pandavas. In the Mahabharata, there's a description of these two youngest brother of the Pandavas. It is said here, Nakula was the fourth of the 5 Pandavas. So Nakula and Sahadeva were twin sons of Madri. Their parents, Pandu and Madri, died early. So there's a story about this. I will tell the story later. Why the parents died early. So the twins were adopted by the stepmother, Queen Kunti. And they were trained by Dronacharya in Hastinapur. They were trained how to fight by Dronacharya in Hastinapur. Skilled in Ayurveda, sword fighting, and horse keeping, Nakula is regarded as the most handsome man in the Mahabharata. He had 2 wives, Draupadi, the common wife of the 5 brothers, and Karanumati, the daughter of Chedi king Shushupal. For Yudhishthira's Rajasuya, he conquered Sivis, the Lohitakas, and other dynasties. After the game of dice, the Pandavas and Draupadi were sent into exile for 13 years, with the last year being incognito. During the incognito, Nakula disguised himself as a horse trainer named Grantika. So in the battle of Kurukshetra, Nakula killed many warriors, including Uruka, the son of Shakuni. So this is a basic story about Nakula. And then Sahadeva. Sahadeva was the youngest of the Pandava brothers. He and Nakula were twin brothers. Sahadeva was skilled in swordsmanship and astrology. During the battle of Kurukshetra, he killed many warriors, including Shakuni. So, as we were mentioning in the beginning, that why Pandu and Madri died early. There's a story behind this. So once upon a time, Maharaj Pandu was hunting in the forest, and he saw a couple of deer in the process of coitus. And he shot arrows at them. And then, he found out that these 2 deers were actually Rishi Kindama and his wife. So the great sages, they have mystic power. They transfer themselves into the body of deer and have sex intercourse in the deer form, like that, And Maharaj Pandu shoot them. So they were making love in the form of deer. Then the dying sage Kindama cursed Maharaj Pandu that he would die whenever he want to have sex with his wives. So that's the curse, the sage, given to Maharaj Pandu. So although Maharaj Pandu and his wife all knew this curse well, but one day Maharaj Pandu suddenly filled with lust for his wife Madri. and proceeded to have sexual act with her. And of course, he died after that. And in grief that her husband died because of her, Marjorie committed suicide after handing her children to Queen Kunti. Actually, this commit suicide is actually a volunteer. She did that voluntarily, just like Gandhari did on the death of her husband, Dhritarashtra. Actually, there is a very nice description in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam about Gandhari's entering into the fire of her husband. Prabhu said in the purport that this entering of a chaste this entering of a chaste lady into the fire of her dead husband is called the sati rite. And the action is considered to be most perfect for a woman. In a later age, this sati rite became an obnoxious criminal affair because the ceremony was forced upon even an unwilling woman. In this fallen age, it is not possible for any lady to follow the sati rite as chastely as it was done by Gandhari and others in the past age. So Gandhari and Maj, they are this kind of ladies, following the sati rite. And Prabhupada continues described by saying, a chaste wife like Gandhari would feel the separation of her husband to be more burning than actual fire. Such a lady can observe the sati rite voluntarily. And there is no criminal force by anyone. When the rite became a formality only, and force was applied upon lady to follow the principle, actually it became criminal. And therefore, the ceremony was to be stopped by state law. So that's why in this modern time, so this sati rite is not suitable. So that's a little story about Nakula and Sahadev and their parents, Maharaj Pandu and Marjorie. So I'll just stop here. Are there any questions or comments? Yes. Yes, please.
So, Hare Krishna. So we hear that like the Kshatriyas, they would sometimes go into the forest and they would hunt big animals like tigers and things to sharpen their skill, their bowman skill or bowmanship skill or whatever. So I was just wondering why Pandu would want to kill a deer who's having intercourse. What was the reason for that? That doesn't seem like a very a good thing to do. How is that going to increase his Kshatriya skill? The deer is just there, it's not running anywhere, it's an innocent animal, it's not like a tiger. So can you explain why he did that?
Actually, I do not know. maybe he just want to practice the killing skill. Anybody else have anything about this?
Dashrath Maharaj, he shot he could, just by hearing an animal, he could shoot the arrow. He could hit his target, not by seeing. So he unfortunately killed the son of a sage who was filling up water for his parents. And the gurgling sounded like some animal drinking water. So he just shot by hearing, and he accidentally killed this son of the sage. So it could have been that, Marj Pandu, I'm not saying, I haven't reviewed that part of the Mahabharata recently, but just, you hear the sound of a deer at a distance and he just shot. And it is mentioned, like when Arjuna went into the forest with Krishna where they met Kalindi, that they were shooting all kinds of animals, including rabbits and deer, rhinoceros, like that. So,
thank you. That's a good point.
Skill. Yes.
Yes, Satchidananda Prabhu.
This is a comment in regards to the Nakul and Sahadev. As probably most of the devotees know from the Mahabharata, when the brothers went to the lake and they were trying to bring water or drink water, and then they got poisoned, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj went finally, and he was asked by the Yaksha all the questions. He answered all the questions. The Yaksha was pleased by that, and then he was ready to give benedictions. And one of the benedictions he was asking, who do you want to come back to life? And he immediately, without hesitating, he said, my twin brothers. And it appears that the Yaksha was a little bit surprised. How is that? And well, we can see by that Yudhishthira, he was very rightful, very spiritual, and very ethical, and he did the right thing at the perfect time. And no surprising, because he's Dharmaraj himself. So that's the story there about the two brothers. He had much affection, not only for them too, but equally to his mother, the Madri. So he had that equipoise. He was very equipoise. Loved them equally.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice. Any other thing else? So we will stop here. Thank you very much for coming. Gantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Haribo Haribo.